This is giving color corrector. I don't even need the Huda Beauty color corrector. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whatever time it is that you're watching this, if you're new here, I started doing this series for the Clueless. Honestly, it's just a way for people to understand like foundation shades or just like little things in makeup that I feel like we don't really go into details. I feel like when you're used to something, you kind of assume that other people know. I feel like makeup is one of those things. This one, as you can tell by the title, is going to be about finding your foundation shade or BB cream, whatever your overall shade match. I feel like this can be a little bit complicated, especially when you don't have the privilege or ability to go to a store and actually swatch the products on you. And obviously it also helps when you find someone who's within the same shade range as you. And I will link down below my shades in different products. Now, I don't have a crazy amount of foundations, but just like the most well-known ones. I feel like a lot of people usually talk about like the Fenty foundation and things like that in their shades. I have a couple foundations here that I'm gonna swatch on my chest. The main one I'm gonna swatch because most of these, if not all of these, already match me. So first things first, when it comes to foundations, any coverage, it could be foundation, BB cream, CC cream, you typically wanna swatch on your chest. Now, if your neck is darker than the rest of your body, you decide if you want to match to your chest right here, in the center of your chest right here, or if you want to match to just your face, like keeping it there. I do have pretty, like my chest and my face match, which I'm now realizing that I am slowly losing my summer shade and it's already October. Lord, by the time February hits, it's about to be over for me. What you typically want to do is, if you have the ability to do this, and you can go to Sephora, whatever it is, and like shade match, is basically just swatch. So now, typically speaking, usually when you're finding a shade match is you go to the shade range that matches your skin color, right? So obviously would not be in the lighter side, usually towards like the dark, deep end. In Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation, I am in the shade 500W. This expired last year. You know what? So I tend to go towards like, I wouldn't say warm necessarily. So now let's talk about undertones. So undertones, obviously you have like your color, but then your undertones are kind of like undertones like under your skin. I'm trying to like this in a good way, but all that to say is like, I don't need to go into the details and the nitty-gritty, but usually when you hear people talking about undertones, they'll have like find your shade range that you're in, but then they're gonna ask you what undertone do you think matches you best. Now, I will say that I'm like golden. I usually go for something that's like warm, like or W's or G's, which is like for example, the Huda Beauty one, I went towards the golden one. So like the Easy Blur, I went for Mocha 500G. So usually when I see G, I'm like, yes. You look at me, I would say that it looks golden. So what do you think of gold? You think of like yellow. You look at me, it's like gold undertones. Now, you wouldn't really think of me and look at me and be like, yeah, she definitely has a warm undertone. Don't think I have a warm undertone. So when you think of like the sun, right? Like orangey, like colors. Those are the main two, is like orange and red. When you look at like color wheel. The main four undertones that you usually hear, there are obviously more, or the main four, I think there's just four. I don't know. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just trying. There's warm undertone, olive, cool, and neutral. Now, olive, when you think of an olive is green. That means like kind of greenish. When you think of warm, right, it tends to be a little bit like a warmer looking, like it looks a bit more warm, like has a bit more orange, a little bit more red, if that makes any sense. And then when you think of cool, you think of it looking a little bit like, I don't want to say ashy, but when I think of cool, I think of it like on me. I'm not saying people look ashy. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that when I think of cool, I think of it looking a little bit too like cool, like think of blues. That makes any sense, like the shades of blues, like icy blues. I don't know. And then last but not least, like the neutral one, and neutral is a combination of warm and cool. So you're literally just like neutral. You're not either. And so the best way to do it, honestly, is just swatch at your chest. And I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't typically do this because a lot of the times I order from online and I just kind of pray for the best. But ideally, you want to swatch like your chest. So I'm just gonna swatch a couple of these, and like we'll say the Danessa Myricks like 13 shade matches me really well, and I've never actually swatched it on my chest. I'm a little bit nervous. But I'm gonna swatch shade 13 of Danessa Myricks. And I think, I can't remember the undertones. I'll like write down the undertones that like how it's described. But the best thing too is like, reading what the brand is saying. So this is shade, oh gosh, this is shade 13 in Danessa Myricks. It's gonna be interesting because I've never really like these on my chest. So that's 13. My chest is definitely lighter. I did not get as much sun this summer. This is Teint Idole shade 500W. This one apparently oxidized. So oxidized just means that it gets darker the longer it sits. So this is interesting. You see that? This one is the Danessa Myricks. This is the Teint Idole. Okay. None of these are disappearing into my chest, but I feel like they're not too bad of a match. But I will say the Danessa Myricks is looking a little bit warmer, right? As you're looking at it, don't you feel like it looks warmer? Like as if someone put a little bit of red, a little bit of orange into it. Now, if you're swatching something and it's like, oh yeah, it looks warm or whatever, and you feel like it's matching your skin, great, right? It's just like for me, but then again, these all match me really well. Like fine, like I don't look crazy in pictures. That's my biggest thing. Now, and then this one, if you remember this Hourglass foundation, I have not used this in a minute. I might start using it just because I have it. The packaging is really nice. Like I do like it. It does look really nice, but it's just like I had to add, if you remember my old video, I had to add blue to it because this foundation was way too orange, right? It was way too warm. So for me to tone it down, because it's a little too hot, I'm just trying to think about it. Then you would add blue to cool it down. So you could add any kind of blue pigment. I added the LA Girl. So LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. Wow, okay. I ended up adding this to kind of tone it down because it was too warm. So if something's ever like warm, like kind of annoying, but it's good to have, is you might need to, if something like too warm for you, then you should definitely get a blue, a blue color corrector or a blue foundation mixing pigment thing. But yeah, I'm going to swatch the Easy Blur. I'm just gonna shake it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I have not really been wearing makeup, so I can't be acting like, I don't know. But I do feel like this was a little bit too golden for me. Like also like a little bit too yellow when I tried it on my face. Then again, let's see. This is Huda Beauty. See that? So this is golden, but I will say it's just, when I tried it on, I was just a little bit too yellow, like too golden for me, which is interesting. Is that, yeah, this is like, see that? Now these are like, this one looks a little bit yellower, because it is golden. They said 500G. This one is Danessa Myricks, and this one is the Lancome. Now remember, Lancome says that it oxidizes, so it will kind of a little bit darker. This is so interesting. So I'm mixing all of these, and they're looking just very, very different. But last but not least, because I totally forgot, this one is the Huda Beauty one right here. So we're going to try the Hourglass one. This one had me looking like a freaking Oompa Loompa. Like, look at that. Like, right off the bat, like, it looks red. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, looking at this is giving red. Okay, we're gonna swatch it. This is the shade. This is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation, and this is the shade. What shade is this? 16? This does not have a good. I'll look online because I remember I'll look at my orders, but I got the shade 16. Now this I did purchase solely on. Look at that. My goodness. See how like this is looking? This is like almost pulling like orange. See like all of these, right? 1, 2, 3, and then you have this one. Boom. Like who in the lab? What's happening here? Like you have 1, 2, 3, okay, and then you get to this and it's like boom. See that? Like who approved this? Like this is giving color corrector. I don't even need the Huda Beauty color corrector. Like literally could just twins. Where have you been? I feel like in general, like you have the ability to do so if you're in Sephora, Ulta, whichever you call it, play around with it. And I know during the wintertime though, it is harder to be like open up your chest and then doing all that. Technically speaking, it is best to do the chest, like the middle of the chest, because it just, you want it to match. But again, if you have a darker neck or your chest is dark, your body, like you just pick whatever works for you, whatever you look and prefer. Makeup, it's an art. Whatever makes you feel good, more confident, who cares, honestly. Also, I would say the best way to check your undertone is like natural lighting. I feel like natural lighting is your best friend in any way, like doing your makeup, recording videos, or anything. Like natural lighting is your best friend. And I know when you go to Sephora in these places, like when I was in high school, I would go to Sephora and get color matched. And I would get home and put it on and I'm like, this is not the same thing. Yeah, it was very much like giving the same thing at all. This is like setting now, like this is all sitting. And I will say, like, if you're looking at all of these, right? You definitely will be like one for sure. The last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, the Hourglass one is way too orange. Like if I were to put this on, I'll be looking like an Oompa Loompa. So we can cancel this out, right? Now, the 1, 2, 3 are all my shade, and that's the thing is like not all brands talk to each other. There's not like a formula, not that I know of. I'm not a makeup artist. That they're like, okay, if you're going to do this shade of dark skin or whatever it is, it needs to be this amount of pigment. So you might obviously be different shades in different brands, unless some brands online will say, or if you find someone that's like to your skin tone, they might say, oh, you are this shade in like Fenty or all these brands. I don't know, these years ago, there used to be like sites where you could put your foundation shade and then they'll say, oh, these are all the shades that'll match well with you, like other brands. And it just made your life so much easier if you didn't have the ability to go to a store. But I'm sure those exist. Like we have technology, it's constantly advancing. There's gotta be a way where that still exists. But anyway, yeah, so this one, you know, I guess like visual purposes, I'm very visual, so I should be doing this, is I'm gonna add a little bit of the blue pigment to the Hourglass because all these do match me pretty well. It's this right here, definitely, I would say it needs to be toned down. It's a little too warm, right? So you need to cool it down with blue. So I'm gonna use like, I haven't used this in a minute because I haven't worn that one. Like this much. You don't need much. I'm just gonna, ooh. Okay, that was like up from like this much. I don't know. Let's just like it up and you'll see. Let's see what it does. Let's see. Mix it in. So what this does is like I said, it like tones it down, but also, now if you feel like, okay, this is still too yellow, you can add a little bit more blue. And this should not be affecting the consistency, like the formulation of the foundation at all. See that? We're getting somewhere. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue because this is very orange. But I personally see it changing. Mix, and obviously you can use the back of your hand. I don't know why I'm doing this all on my chest, honestly, now that I'm like talking about this. It's like starting to match at least the Danessa Myricks one. It's still a little bit warm, but I will say in general, like definitely looks better than that orange Oompa Loompa situation. I don't know, I want to play around with this foundation. That's the thing is like, I feel like this definitely matches more. And I'm not sure if I should make this like a separate video. I'm not sure, maybe not. But like, it's always better if the foundation is darker. Because if it's darker, you can get a concealer and you can like, which I don't know, I should probably do another video about this. And I promise, actually I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm gonna try make another video explaining 2-in-1, I guess like the purpose of like the under eye, like whatever. But like if your foundation is too dark, it is much better if it's darker than lighter. Because if it's darker, you can like a brightening concealer to like brighten up the center of your face because naturally, technically, if you're looking at me right now, the light is hitting here and the shadows are here around like here. That's typically, you know, you can make it work if the foundation is darker. Foundation is light, you out here, the flash test is not gonna be your friend and it's gonna look very weird. It's just not the best if something is like too light. I personally do not like that look. If you like it, that's a cup of tea. I don't know which foundation I'm gonna wear today. I don't know what I'm gonna wear. Okay, I don't want something heavy, so I'm gonna do the Easy Blur. Hello, I'm back. This is the full face that I ended up doing. I was talking about the shade swatching that I did. I was saying that the Huda Beauty 500G was a little bit too golden, right? Gold, what do you think of gold? Kind of yellowy. But honestly, see how it ended up working? At least I think it works. Like when you look at my face, you look at my body, it's not like a crazy like contrast. It works well together. I will say a little bit like I'm wearing a lot of blush and that's okay. But when you look at the center of my face, right? That's how I do it at least. Is like, look at the center of my face right here, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4. I would say it matches my chest. Like, of course, you know, makeup subjective, you know, I'm gonna be putting blush all the way up here, honestly. Which blush is it again? It's the Klarity Kosmetics Hot and Bothered. You know what's crazy? I ended up using this like months ago. And I was like, this is not pigmented. I should have shut my mouth. I didn't really like dig in and that's my fault. I own up to it. This is great. I love this. I see myself, this is like it's a lip and cheek pot. I don't know if I can use it on my lid. I don't know, but this I love the color rust. Like, it's the color of my sectional. Like, I rust orange. I just feel like it's timeless. Anyway, all that to say is, you see how it was like golden? Like, what I'm saying is all those shades except for the Hourglass one pretty much matched me. Like, yeah, look a little bit different from each other, but they're like in the same vicinity. Like, if I usually shop in the deep dark end usually, and when it comes to makeup brands, I would not be going to light and medium. Like I gotta stick to like a range and stick to that and just figure out which one goes my undertone. But yeah, I would just say, like, if you find someone, if you go into a store, obviously ask for help. Natural lighting is always the best. I know sometimes you can like apply it on your face or on your neck, whatever it is. I know it's like winter's coming, so you can't really like chest whatever unless you don't care and you like the cold. I don't. But what I'm saying is, once you apply it, like, maybe, you know, step outside the natural light for a second, because I know for me, I've been a victim of that, where I try it on, I put it on, and it doesn't look the same. But anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping now. I hope you really enjoyed this video and hope you are having a great day. You are taking care of yourselves and others. And yeah, feel free to check out my other last 2 videos in this series. And of course, check out my other videos while you're here. Why not? If you like what you see, then feel free to give it a subscription, girl. Feel free to subscribe, a like, whatever you feel. And yeah, I will see you hopefully in the next video. Bye.